This is the best Crow sequel ever. Hey there, guys. Thank you for coming to Cinema Bear. My name is Eric Ortiz, and today we're going to take a look at the Crow sequel-ish slash remake slash reboot slash reimagining slash we have the rights to the Crow, so we're going to make more Crow movies. And the movie is essentially the same plot of the first one, only it's completely restructured. And sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. In terms of directing, I say overall I'm a fan of Rupert Sanders. He did do this visually stunning live action adaptation of Ghost in the Shell a few years ago. And while from a storytelling standpoint that movie didn't land for me, visually it did. And in many ways this version of The Crow does as well. It has the dark gothic themes, it has a great use of shadow and light, and I'd say one of the things that stood out for me in terms of his visual eye is that he didn't try to copy any of the previous films. This movie visually has a completely different vibe about it, and that part of it is good. The part of it that don't work are the inconsistencies in terms of the pacing and the tone. I don't like doing spoilers, and I'll probably do a spoiler review for this one, but I will say you get a feeling, you get a vibe, and then the movie kind of subverts that feeling and vibe. There's also issues in terms of the sense of time, in terms of what's happening with the characters, where they're essentially being hunted down, and in the time that they're being hunted down they're also falling in love, and either they fall in love in the course of 2 weeks or 3 months, 6 months. It doesn't have the sense of urgency in terms of the time that they're together. Like, they're never really in danger. We never sense that. And while this might have been something that they could have tweaked with the editing in terms of the structuring of scenes, they don't do it here, so ultimately just leaves the film a little bit unbalanced. All that being said, from a visual standpoint and from an action standpoint, this movie gets the job done. The action sequences are actually incredibly good. One or two are actually excellent. One in particular where Eric gets his powers early on is almost like a tutorial, and yeah, that's as far as I'll go with it. There are some issues here and there, but not enough to say it was a poorly directed film. In terms of performances, this movie subverted expectation. I was pretty harsh with Vincent Perez's performance in The Crow City of Angels, calling it Brandon Lee cosplay. Skarsgård doesn't do that here. This version of Eric Draven feels like its own take on the character. And Efka Twiggs' take on Shelly Webster is her own version of Shelly Webster. Of the relationships that we've seen in the Crow sequels, this feels like the most authentic of all of them by far. It's not as good as the original Shelly Webster from the '94 film, but that movie's its own iconic beast. In terms of the villains, nobody is that memorable here. I can't even name a single goon, to be perfectly honest with you. None of them stand out to me. There is one guy that's missing an eye, whose name I don't even know because it kind of doesn't really matter. Danny Hudson plays the main villain in this one, and his character is okay. It's almost like a forced evil character to be the big bad in this supernatural action adventure. When you see the movie, you'll understand. I didn't think his character was that interesting. I didn't think his motivation was that interesting, but what's there is there, and I'd say overall, especially because of the two main leads, performance-wise, I was not too disappointed. One of the great things about this movie is just this high level of violence during these action sequences. This movie is right up there with something like John Wick in terms of violence, or the recent Deadpool and Wolverine, where it doesn't flinch. You will see blood, you will see guts. The healing animations on the Crow himself are actually really cool. They have a very organic, visceral feel about them. So yeah, on the action sequences alone, I'd say give this one a try. And overall, I would say this movie is Syncredibad. I was entertained. It has pacing issues. Some of the acting could be a little bit rough here and there. It's nowhere near as awful as some of the haters out there are saying it is. I had a fun time with it. The audience that I was watching it with, when the cool action moments happened, they were engaged. When it was funny, and when it was not too good, they reacted to that as well. So I think you can't go wrong, especially if you're a fan of the Crow mythology. Give this one an honest shot. So thanks for watching Cinema Bear. I appreciate you guys watching my reviews. Please like and share, especially if someone's a fan of this character, this universe. this mythology, please share this video because I think this movie deserves a fair shake. Thank you very much again. My name's Eric Ortiz. This has been Cinema Bear, and I'll see you for the next one. Take care.